Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Hello everyone. Our today's topic is nutrition. So today's learning objectives are introduction to nutrition, balanced diet, BMI, RDA, BMR, basic metabolic rate or resting metabolic rate, and EAR, estimated average requirement. Let's start with what is nutrition. Nutrition the body of what is nutrition? The study of how our body uses the food that we eat. The nutrition is the process by which body utilizes food for growth and maintenance and healthy living. The process of taking in food and using it for growth, metabolism, and repair. The biochemical and physiological processes by which an organism uses food to support its life. Let's discuss what is a nutrient. A nutrient is a chemical substance present in food that helps maintain the body function. Some provide energy, all help to build cells and tissues, regulate body processes such as breathing, heartbeat, etc., etc. No single food supplies all the nutrients the body needs to function. The nutrients are broadly divided into two major groups, macronutrients and micronutrients. The macronutrients are those which are required in large amount and produce energy, like carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. The other one, micronutrients, are those which are required in very minute amount, help in the metabolic processes and other functions of the body. Vitamins like vitamins, minerals, and water. The 6 classes of classification of nutrients are, as I pointed out, proteins, carbohydrates, fats, vitamins, minerals, and water. So proteins, carbohydrates, fats, vitamins, minerals, and water. As far as the carbohydrates are concerned, we have 3 different types of carbohydrate that we take in our diet. That is sugars, starches, and cellulose. So all the 6 nutrients, proteins, carbohydrates, and fats are the ones that provide energy. Vitamins, minerals, and water, they are the ones that help in the other metabolic processes. And the carbohydrates that we take in our diet are normally sugars, starches, and cellulose. Nutrients that have calories are proteins, carbohydrates, and fats. Calories means the nutrient that provide heat in the form of calories. If you digest 1 gram of protein, then it produces 4 kilocalories of energy. Carbohydrates, 1 gram, also produces 4 kilocalories of energy, and 1 gram of fat produces, when metabolized, 9 kilocalories of energy. You see, that the fat produces twice as much per gram energy as compared to proteins and carbohydrates. What do we mean by calorie? Definition of calorie is a unit of measure for energy present in the food. A unit of measure for energy in the food. Calorie. 1 calorie is the heat required to raise the temperature of 1 gram of water by 1 degree Celsius. That is, 1 calorie is the heat required to raise the temperature of 1 gram of water by 1 degree centigrade. Usually it is measured in the form of kilocalories, that is 1000 calories. The chemical process by which the body breaks down food to release energy, calorie, is called metabolism. That is how calories are produced by the metabolism of different food materials. Variables that affect the requirement of nutrients are age, gender, activity level, climate, health, and state of nutrition. Age require different age groups require different amount of energy or different amount of calories. For example, age, the young children, because they are growing or growing children, they require more nutrients to grow as compared to the adults, which require constant amount of energy. And with the age, passage of age, then the requirement of energy keeps on varying as one keeps on growing older and older, and it requires less and less nutrients. Then gender also affects the requirement of nutrients. Males, because they are working really hard, they work more as compared to females, so therefore they require more energy, more nutrients as compared to females. Activity level also affects the requirement of nutrients. Those persons, they really work hard, they require more nutrients to produce more energy for their body function as compared to those persons which are simply just have a sedentary type of life, just sitting all the day without doing any labor work. So therefore, they require less amount of nutrients. Climatic change also affects the requirement of nutrients. Health also affected by the nutrients are requirement of the nutrients. That's healthy person require more nutrients to keep them healthy as compared to the sick person, which require less amount of energy. So requirement depends upon the health of the individual. State of nutrition also affects the requirement of energy. A balanced diet is that which contains all the constituents of food in proper proportions, so as to provide energy and daily essential nutritional requirements for growth and reproduction, such as proteins, carbohydrates, fats, vitamins, minerals, and water, and fiber. All these are the nutrients which are required for the normal healthy processes. They must be present in a balanced diet in appropriate proportion. There is no single food with correct amount of all essential nutrients. A balanced diet is the one that fulfills all the person's nutritional needs. Humans need a certain amount of calories and nutrients to stay healthy. Remember, a healthy person requires about 2,500 kilocalories per day, and females require about 2,000 kilocalories per day. A balanced diet provides all the nutrients a person requires without going over the recommended daily caloric intake. This is very important. A balanced diet provides all the nutrients a person needs, but without going over the recommended daily caloric intake. Substances or nutrients the body needs to regulate body functions, repair body tissues, promote growth, obtain energy for various bodily functions. Most nutrients come from the food that normally an individual eats. A balanced diet, you can see right here, this one, contains carbohydrate, fats, about 55% or 60% carbohydrates, about 25% fats, 15% protein, and vitamins, minerals, and fiber is about 5%. All these show the constituents of a balanced diet. You can see right here bread, carbohydrate, biscuit, carbohydrate, see, and then the fats you can see right here, cheese, fat, and protein, fish and meat, and vitamins, vitamins, minerals, and fiber. Importance of balanced diet. A balanced diet supplies the nutrients our body needs to work effectively. Without balanced diet, our body is more prone to diseases, infections, fatigue, and low performance. Children who do not get enough healthy food may face growth and developmental problems, poor academic performance, and frequent infections. A balanced diet provides us with different nutrients that we need, but not too much of things such as sugars or fats, which could lead to ill health. So it means the essential components are balanced diet are number one, carbohydrate, protein, fat, mineral, vitamins, fiber, and water. All these must be present in balanced diet in appropriate proportion. A balanced diet contains all the food types in the right amounts to stay healthy. For example, carbohydrates like sugars, potato, starch, and fiber, carrots. So a balanced diet must contain carbohydrate. A carbohydrate food containing carbohydrates are, as I pointed out, banana, bread, biscuits, rice, breakfast cereals, pasta, root vegetables, and potatoes. These are the common ones that contain the carbohydrates. Carbohydrates provide about 60 to 65% of total calories that our body needs. In addition to calories, the carbohydrates also provide the fiber. For example, cellulose, which is important for the normal intestinal function. Dietary carbohydrates are of two types: available carbohydrates and unavailable carbohydrates. What do you mean by this? Available carbohydrates are those that can be metabolized by the body to get energy. Those carbohydrates that can be metabolized by our body through metabolic processes and produce energy. For example, starches and sugars. Unavailable carbohydrates cannot be assimilated and constitute only the dietary fiber. Do not produce energy. Celluloses, hemicellulose, and pectin, etc., etc. Dietary fiber, which is mainly non-starch polysaccharides, is a physiologically important component of the diet. It is found in vegetables, fruits, and grains. It may be divided broadly into cellulose and non-cellulose polysaccharides, which include hemicellulose, pectin, storage polysaccharides like inulin, and the plant gums and mucilages. These are all degraded to a greater or lesser extent by the microflora in the human colon. Fats. A balanced diet contains all the food types in the right amount to stay healthy. There are two types of fats, saturated fat and unsaturated fat. Saturated fat, these are usually found in foods such as milk, butter, cheese, and meat. Saturated means their structure do not contain any double bond. Unsaturated fat, these are usually found in foods such as fish, fish oils, cooking oils, sunflower oils, seed oils, and so on. You can see right here is the cheese, fat, and this is the butter. Fats, food containing fats are butter, margarine, cooking oil, meat, sausages, cheese, cakes, and cream. All these are the ones which contain more or less certain amount of fats. Fats or lipids also serve as source of energy, as I pointed out earlier, that 1 gram of fat, when it is metabolized, produces 9 kilocalories of energy as compared to carbohydrate and proteins, which produce only 4 kilocalories of energy per gram. Fat maintains body temperature and protects certain sensitive organs like nerves and kidneys, etc., etc. 20 to 35% of person's daily calories come from fats. The ideal intake of fat is 15 to 20% of total calories, out of which about 25 to 30% may be from polyunsaturated fatty acids. Polyunsaturated fatty acids, right? Fats serve as a vehicle for fat-soluble vitamins. Fat-soluble vitamins are stored in the body along with the fats, but water-soluble vitamins cannot be stored in the body, and they must be taken in the diet. Fat may be saturated or unsaturated and trans. There are two types of fats, visible fat and invisible fat. Visible fat, which is consumed as such, for example, butter, ghee, oils, and so on, that we can easily see them during eating. Invisible fat, which are present as part of other food materials, food items, for example, eggs, fish, meat, cereals, nuts, etc., etc. So these are the food constituents in which although fat is present, but that cannot be visible. Proteins, a balanced diet contains all the food types in the right amount to stay healthy. You can see fish contains fish proteins or meats. Proteins which are present in different foods are meat, eggs, fish, chickpeas, lentils, and nuts. All these contain certain amount of protein. Why do we take proteins? What are the functions of proteins? The functions of proteins are bodybuilding, growing of the tissues, repair and maintenance of body tissues, maintenance of osmotic pressure, mainly the albumin required for the maintenance of osmotic pressure, synthesis of bioactive substances, and vital molecules. For example, enzymes, which are all proteins in nature, with the exception of ribozymes. Proteins are used to generate energy, but not all the time. Only when the body has exhausted its stores of carbohydrates and fats, In the presence of carbohydrate and fats, the body proteins are not utilized for the production of energy. It is used for the development of growth of the tissues. Protein take part in the growth and repair of the body tissues. Proteins from animals are complete proteins. What do you mean by complete proteins? Complete proteins are the ones that contain all the amino acids, including essential amino acids. Proteins from plants are incomplete proteins, means that they do not contain all the 9 essential amino acids in one source, but can be taken in combination to meet the essential requirements. When enough carbohydrates are present in the diet, the amino acids are not used for the production of energy. They are used for the synthesis of proteins. So the excess amount of or enough amount of carbohydrate then is known as the protein sparing effect of carbohydrates, because they are used to spare proteins for the tissue growth and other functions. A balanced diet contains all the food types in the right amount to stay healthy, as I pointed out. Vitamins. A balanced diet must contain vitamins, which are of 2 types: vitamin C, water soluble, and vitamin D, which is a fat soluble. They are essential part of our balanced diet. Vitamins are class of organic compounds categorized as essential nutrients. They are required by the body in a very small amount. They fall in the category of micronutrients. But they are essential because they take part or stimulate the metabolic processes as a coenzymes. Vitamins are divided into 2 major groups: fat-soluble vitamins A, D, E, and K, and water-soluble vitamins. Vitamin of B group and vitamin C are water solubles. They are water soluble, and A, D, E, and K are the fat soluble. Vitamins do not provide any energy. They only assist chemical reactions in the body. Can be classified as fat soluble, can be stored by the body. Water solubles cannot be stored by the body. Fat soluble A, D, E, and K are stored along with the fat, and water soluble that cannot be stored are vitamin C and vitamin B complex. A, D, and K are the fat solubles, and water soluble C and B are altogether 8 different vitamins are present in the group vitamin B complex, like B1, B2, B3, B5, B9, B6, and B12 and B7. The vitamins are normally act as antioxidants, are vitamins that help protect healthy cells from damage caused by the normal aging processes, as well as certain types of cancer. Vitamins which are required for different functions. The following table shows about the certain important vitamins. So, like vitamin A, which is found in fish, milk, vegetables, eggs, and cheese. Their function is, or they're needed for eyesight and healthy skin. Vitamin C, present in fruits, especially in citrus fruits and vegetables, required for healthy teeth and gums, and avoid scurvy. Scurvy is a disease which is due to the deficiency of vitamin C, resulted into spongy gums, spongy bleeding gums. Vitamin B1, present in whole grain foods, nuts, and meat. They are required for the breakdown of carbohydrates as a cofactor for the breakdown of carbohydrates. Vitamin D, animal products also made in the body when the sun shines on the skin. That is, under the skin of our skin, there is a 7-dehydrocholesterol, which is by the action of the ultraviolet light of the coming from this sunshine, it is converted into vitamin D 25, 125 cholecalciferol, which is vitamin D that helps in the absorption of calcium, phosphorus, avoiding rickets, which is a disease of children having a weak bow type of bones. A balanced diet contains all the food types in the right amount to stay healthy. For example, minerals present in beets, for example, iron and calcium present in milk. Minerals, they do not provide energy, as I pointed out earlier. They perform a wide variety of functions in the body. Occurs naturally in rocks and oils, and soil, inorganic. Some like calcium, we need to make sure we get enough of calcium because they are required for the normal development of the bones. Others like sodium, most people get too much and we need to be sure to limit it because sodium is the one that affects the blood pressure. Different minerals which are needed in large quantities and small quantities are needed in large quantities. Macronutrients are calcium, sodium, potassium, magnesium, phosphorus, chlorine, and sulfur. Those which are required in small amounts are iron, chlorine, iodine, copper, and zinc. Minerals are basic elements that are found in the air and earth. The body needs a small amount of certain minerals in order to stay healthy. The minerals, for example, calcium, found in vegetables and dairy products and dried food, dried fish. They are needed to keeping bones and teeth hard and healthy. Iron, present in red meat, liver, beans, lentils, and green vegetables. Their function is making blood, preventing tiredness and anemia. Iodine, present in seafood and dairy products, maintaining the thyroid gland because thyroid gland secretes the hormone thyroxine, which is the major metabolic hormone. Now coming to water. A balanced diet contains all the food types in the right amount to stay healthy. Water is one of them. Why do we need water? All the nutrients that we take must be in soluble form. And water is the one that makes them soluble. The body is mainly composed of water. Approximately 60% of the adult's weight and approximately 80% of the child's weight is made up of water. You can see right here, adult 60% of weight is water and in children about 80% is water. It is vitally important that one drinks enough water. Why? Because dehydration can seriously damage the performance. So in order to avoid dehydration, one must take enough water to stay healthy and avoid dehydration. Water plays an integral part in regulating our body's temperature when exercising. What happens during exercise? When we exercise, the body secretes water as sweat. As the sweat evaporates off our skin, it takes heat with it, helping the body to stay cool. We also lose water through breathing. That's why glass mist up when we breathe on it. The water vapors in our breath condenses on the cold surface. How do we know how much of each food type to take, to eat? This pyramid shows you the food requirement. For example, we must take oil and sugars as carbohydrates, or meat and fish, milk, cheese, and yogurt, fruit and vegetables, bread, potatoes, and pasta. All these are the ones that contain appropriate amount of nutrients. Functions of each food type. What type of functions they perform? For example, carbohydrates, sugars. Sugar used for the production of energy, starch also for energy, fiber prevents constipation. Proteins for growth and repair of cells and tissues, fat for energy and insulation, vitamins, for example, vitamin C for healthy skin and gums, vitamin D for stronger bones, calcium for stronger bones as well, iron to make red blood cells, water to dissolve and transport the substances and of the nutrients. Coming to body mass index, BMI. Body mass index of a person is weight in kilogram divided by the square of height in meters. There is a value which is obtained by the weight of a person or individual in kilograms divided by the height of the individual in meter square. You can see right here, BMI, weight in kilograms and meter square. What does this tell us? This tells us the health state of the individual. A high BMI can indicate high body fat. BMI provides a measure of relative weight adjusted for height. That is, relative weight in relation to height. This allows comparison both within and between population. The range in BMI is healthy, 18.5 to 24.9, a healthy one. Overweight, 25 to 29.9. Obese, equal to 30 or more than 30. And extremely obese is more than 40. Recommended dietary allowance, RDA. The RDA is the average daily dietary intake level that is sufficient to meet the nutrient requirement of nearly all the individuals, about 98%, in a life stage or gender group. That is, on the average, the amount of diet which is required by all the individuals to stay healthy, to maintain its life. The RDA, recommended dietary allowance, is not the minimal requirement for healthy individual, but provides a margin of safety for most individuals. Must be in the amount to stay someone healthy. It is the amount of nutrients our body needs to stay healthy. This is more important. RDAs are intended to ensure the adequacy of nutrient intake. Why? Because if the nutrients present in the diet are not in adequate amount and appropriate amount, then the body cannot perform a normal healthy function. Recommended dietary allowance, RDA, for different nutrients is, this table shows the average value of the normal requirement. For example, carbohydrates, about 400 grams are required per day. Fats, 70 grams. Protein, 56 grams. Essential fatty acids, 4 grams. Recall that essential fatty acids are those which are not synthesized in our body but must be taken in the diet. For example, linoleic acid, linolenic acid, and arachidonic acid. Vitamin A requires about 600 microgram required for the normal vision. Vitamin D, 5 microgram, required for stronger bones. Vitamin E, 10 milligram, required for fertility. Vitamin K, 70 microgram, required for blood clotting. Folic acid, 200 microgram, required as a cofactor. Calcium, 800 milligram, required for stronger bones. And phosphorus, 800 milligram for stronger bones. And iron, 10 milligram for the normal blood. BMR, basal metabolic rate or resting metabolic rate. Basal metabolic rate or resting metabolic rate. What is BMR? BMR is the measurement of the minimum calorie requirement intake that our body needs to stay alive in a resting state. That is, it is the amount of calories our body would need if we were to stay in bed all the day. If we are not doing anything, just lying down on the bed without doing anything, is still, in order to continue different metabolic processes and other functions like breathing, heartbeat, and so on, then certain amount of energy is required. Even if we don't do anything, still we need certain amount of energy to keep anyone alive. And that minimum requirement at rest is known as the basal metabolic rate or resting metabolic rate. Question is, how many calories are required? A normal healthy individual requires 2,500 kilocalories per day per day on the average. And females require about 2,000 kilocalories per day on the average. At resting stage, about 70% of our calories intake is responsible for just supplying our BMR, basic metabolic rate. Even if we don't do anything, still we need 70% of the total energy to keep us alive. We need calories to pump our heart, breathe, control our body temperature, and many other vital functions of the body. Thank you.